Well then, go back to your BTech days. Your PhDs are definitely from good institutions, and your MTech could also be from good institutions. Go back to your BTech days, or go back to your first degree. Could be whatever could be the first degree. Then, how are you feeling in the class? How many of you are feeling that it is frustrating to sit in the class? How many of you are feeling that it is waste of time to sit in the class? Depends upon the subject. Okay.
And one more factor is also there, sir.
Yeah.
At the beginning, we don't have that idea about the institution.
Okay.
So when we have studied the BTech,
Hmm.
after that we have explored all the things that
Okay.
are related we can do.
Right.
And based on that, we have always tried
Good.
to
Okay.
prepare this.
Okay.
So that is the one of the criteria.
Good.
Beginning, people don't having that much idea, but still now generation is very active. They are
Alright.
getting
Good.
good institution.
Your BTech was from Vizag, is it? Good. And how are you feeling in your first degree generally? Generally, in your first degree, why in your first degree? Unfortunately, even in your high school days or even 10th standard, your major focus was only examination. Isn't it? A sort of pressure from parents, right? And today's parents, they don't want to talk to their children if they don't get more than 95% of marks, isn't it? So, the major focus was upon examination. I'm sure you're married, young lady. Good. Okay. How can you be young lady then? I mean, okay. All right. Okay. Okay. All right. You're young at heart. Good. How will you talk to your mother-in-law? With respect or with fear? Okay. Will you be more comfortable with your mother or with your mother-in-law? With mother. Okay. And with mother-in-law, there is some, boundary, isn't it? Okay. What is this boundary? Is it created by your husband or by your mother-in-law? The aura is created by your mother-in-law. Okay. Good. How is your father-in-law? He's friendly. Okay, good. But not to mother-in-law. All right. I'm going to meet her today evening then. Okay. All right. Good. Okay. Good. All right. What about you, gentlemen? Brahma Naidu, isn't it? Okay. You are the creator of the whole world, Brahma. Right. So how are you feeling during your BTech days? Or what is your first degree? Okay. So still the major concern was examination, isn't it? Good. That's what your teachers were also forcing you, examination. Major concern is always examination, and teachers force you. And you would have a bad habit of meeting your senior friends, isn't it? That's a very bad habit of meeting senior friends. Having friends is good habit, but meeting senior classmates to know about the institution, to know about the examination is a very bad habit. Good. Okay. Then this young lady mentioned that there is an aura created by mother-in-law. There shall be a fear. Fear, respect, all mixed up. But with mother, she will have a lot of respect, but she can have a lot of freedom also. So between the two scenario, where you are compelled by fear or bound by fear, and an area where you are totally having freedom, sense of freedom, which will give you a better impression, which will make you to be highly impressed with whatever you are talking and whatever you have been doing. Obviously, when you have freedom, isn't it? Because in an environment like this lady mentioned, that I'm concerned about my mother-in-law, she would always be worried about what would happen to her, or how her whatever she tells would be taken and shall be interpreted, and she will be more conscious about that. In other words, she would be more conscious about what comes out as speech, isn't it? What definitely comes out of the speech. The spontaneous thinking is lost. The immediate reaction is lost, isn't it? And a feeling that I can talk comfortably is totally lost. And when you lose all these three things, the most major thing that you would be losing is hearing. You would stop listening, because while that person is talking, without listening, you will be planning what to talk next without listening. This is exactly what happens with a student also. If you try to give an impression that examination is more important. The examinations happen. Why should you be worried? Suddenly, even if you are married and a beautiful girl looks at you, there shall be palpitation, isn't it? Isn't it? See? He's talking about his experience. Right? Okay. So there shall be palpitation, right? Nothing wrong. Absolutely nothing wrong. But then if you get tensed now to create a story to tell your wife, then the whole situation collapses. How many of you had really the courage of telling your wife, today I met a beautiful lady. I really wanted to avoid this girl because I was afraid of you. But then she smiled at me. How many of you have that courage to tell her, go and tell her? If you can develop that courage of talking to your wife so boldly, life becomes celebration. Isn't it? So your student should also make a classroom a celebration. Not being afraid of the gunpoint of so-called stupid examination. Examinations are all stupid. They have no meaning. Absolutely, they have no meaning. And what sort of questions were you being asked in the examination? All useless questions, isn't it? First of all, your question paper is very clear. Question number 1 from chapter number 1. Question number 2 from chapter number 2. Isn't it? And you had to answer only 5 questions or 6 questions. Therefore, you were preparing only for the first 4 chapters. Isn't it? Tell me yes or no.
Yes, sir.
You are preparing only for first 4 or 4 chapters. Suppose the syllabus would have had 6 chapters. You were preparing only for first 4 chapters. What would happen to last 2 chapters? Which are the real prerequisites for your next course in the next semester? And on which you have not put your hand at all? What's going to happen? There are a lot of electronics people here. What would happen in the cascaded stage? What's going to happen with your overall gain? In a cascaded stage, it will be overall gain is the product, isn't it? What would happen? We are not thinking about it. Now, your teachers, recall, I'm not telling you people would be doing that. Your teachers had a very bad habit. This bad habit was after a beautiful derivation on the board, isn't it? Like, you remember certain mathematical derivation after the beautiful derivation. Obviously, most of the time you would turn to the board and see the chit and then write down, isn't it? Isn't it? Your teachers would be doing that, right? After that, he will tell that this is important, isn't it? How many times you have heard that this is important? Isn't it? I cannot understand why teachers would do that. This is important. This is important, okay. From what perspective is that important? From the perspective of life, or from the perspective of future research? Or was the teacher trying to tell it is still an open problem, an unsolved problem? Or was the teacher meaning that this is an essential question which would appear always in the examination? Right? And in your, if you have your undergraduate notes even today, you just go back and see how many places you have put the star mark and you would have written important, right? And some beautiful girls always carry 2 pens, 3 pens, colored pens, and then put it in getting mark, isn't it? Right? Boys, nothing, just don't worry about anything, all right? All right. So, all that I am trying to tell you is stop telling in the class that this is important. Because every moment is important, every line is important, every aspect is important. Isn't it? Every fundamental thing has got to be very strong. The greatest difference between an ordinary institution and a great institution is that in a great institution, teachers are more focused to make the foundation strong. Whereas in ordinary institutions, it is only the face lifting which shall be done for the first campus placement. In life, campus placement is nothing. Even a donkey shall have a job, right? But the foundation has got to be strong because the person has got to survive till his retirement. Not when he starts his life at 21, 22, 23, but when he retires around 58, 60, 61, 62. Till then, foundations have got to be strong. Therefore, as teachers, your focus should be where I should strengthen every student. Whatever you are teaching, whatever, it could be environmental science, it could be chemistry, it could be English, it could be electronics, it could be financial marketing, whatever it is. What is that I have got to make strong over here? And making things strong, foundation strong, doesn't mean making the subject strong. How appropriate and how relevant it is, that subject is for life. Not for stupid examination. Examinations happen for life. Environment for life. Marketing for life. So you have got to immediately connect everything philosophically, even if you are teaching MOSFET, how it is for life. Even if you are teaching op-amp, integrator, how it is for life. Why is it called differentiator? Why is this called integrator? Right? Everything has got to be always connected to the life. Only then students shall not be afraid of any examination in life. Why should he be afraid of examination? After all, in examination, what are you going to do? What is examination for? Can anybody define what is examination? What is examination? Anybody? Okay, you would announce a test. What is going to happen to a student if you announce a test or examination? Reproduce. Okay. Right. For that, what is he going to do? Examination is not on the day of examination, but it should be up to the day of examination. If the examination is going to be on the day of examination, it is a foolish examination. If it is up to the date of examination, then it is real examination. So, what do I mean by up to the day of examination? The motivation for the student has got to be learning the subject, not remembering the subject from the point of examination. So make learning the most vital objective in your teaching. That's all. Don't tell anything is important. Number one. Number two, don't ever tell about examination. Examination will happen. So we don't have the word examination in this university. Right? We don't call it as examination at all. We call it as continuous assessment. It is just continuous assessment. And surely we have two components of assessment. Dean AA's office will let you know in greater detail, and by this time you have already picked it up. One is called formative assessment, another is called summative assessment. What is formative? What is the meaning of formative period? What is the meaning of this formative period? Okay. How many ladies are married? You are a married lady, isn't it? You are a married lady, right? How many men are married? Be happy. Okay, come on. Why are you looking at your neighbor to find out whether you are married or not? Okay. Alright. This is another problem with Indian students. You ask a question, he will look at the neighbor. Do you know the answer? Okay. Or do you have the answer? Okay. How many of you have become parents? Good. So how many of you have gone to gynecologist along with your spouse? Or of course, lady has to go. You have gone to gynecologist. And what does the gynecologist do? Every time you go, every month or every 1.5 months or every quarter, what does the gynecologist do? Formative. It is only the growth period, isn't it? Formative. She assesses. It is a formative assessment. That's all. Right? It is just the formative assessment. So formative is associated with the growth. Growth and nourishment followed by development. Isn't it? So it starts from sprouting and then you will be protecting, and in the protection, that's what is the nourishment you are going to give. The embryo fertilizes, embryo grows, and obviously it keeps growing, and then you will be assessing. Isn't it? Right? Good. So this is most important for students. So you have got to spend more planning on the formative period of a student. And you are assessing. What does assessing mean? Of course, the outcome is in terms of marks or grades that you give. But what does assessment mean? Measuring what? Learning aspect. Good. I mean, learning aspect is good. But what do you do? Again, you make measurement more important or make learning more important in the process? Okay, how will you do it? Clarifying. Okay, clarifying is hand holding. Come on, interact. I don't know. I want to learn from you people. Discuss. Okay, why should they discuss? Why you don't know the answer? Then
No, sir. Basically, it should be the two-way communication.
yes.
Most of the classes I have.
Communication is two-way only, no?
Yes, sir.
Is there a monologue communication?
Yes, sir. Communication is two-way.
Okay.
But basically, most of the class when you are teaching or interacting, there is no response from other side.
Why there is no response from the other side?
Because in the beginning there is so many doubts are there.
Why there should be doubt?
Some people are hesitating to say.
Why they should be agitating to say?
That will invade from their surroundings.
You have got to remove all these inhibitions. Then the communication automatically happens. Did you get it? That is why in our university, we always stress upon one point: reduce this monologue communication, as he was telling. Delivering the lecture is a monologue communication. Reduce monologue communication. Increase dialogue. And enhance the participation. Enhance the participation. All right? And finally, empower learning. What is learning? Learning is not you providing the clarifications to the questions. Making a candidate learn is to discover the answers by himself. I use the word discover. I did not tell invent the answers. Discover the answers. He has got to discover the answers by himself. Why? Why? Because anything done by yourself precipitates strongly within yourself. If you clarify, he would be very happy. He will note down and be happy because he has got an answer for the question in examination. But if he discovers the answer, you help him, you do the hand holding, but don't do hand holding, hand leading. You should do the hand leading to the candidate. Okay? Most of the time, you should not lead from the front. You have got to push him from the back. Could you get it? And while pushing from the back, you do little steering also. Turning slightly. Okay? In the right direction. But he has got to feel that I am told by my teacher. Not told, he should feel that I have got to take this path. And the bright boy will try to find out the answer. Why did my teacher not steer me in this direction? Ordinary boy will go in the direction that you have shown, but then he discovers the answer. Right? That is why our structure is an LTP based structure. So in LTP based structure, L doesn't mean delivering the lecture. L means improving the listening comprehension of the candidate. L for listening capability of the student. Of course, if one has got to listen, I have got to tell a story. If I have got to tell a story, I should know how to narrate a story. If I have got to narrate a story, the whole thing should be under my authority. Only then I can tell a story. Isn't it? Right? So you have got to be at an authoritative end. And how should I tell the story? The way you got to tell the story is allow him to predict what would be my next line in the story. Allow him to predict that. Could you get it? When he predicts and that happens to be the same line that you are speaking, he will be so much thrilled to feel that I am also able to think the way my teacher is thinking. Could you get it? He feels so proud. Let it be mathematics, let it be electronics, let it be computer science. This is what you have got to do, for which naturally your involvement with the subject should be so strong. And you have got to put it in a structured way, be it be any subject. But the whole point is you have got to draw the attention of every listener in the class. Right? So, listening comprehension has got to be done. Therefore, while listening, only not listening, he is also seeing. He is also seeing you. Listening through the ears, seeing, and he is observing you carefully. Therefore, your body language matters a lot. So your body should also speak. A teaching is not a monomedia, it is a multimedia. You are using your hands, you are using your eyes, you are using your board, you are using your writing, and you are using your movement, okay? And you are connotating, annotating, and you would be doing plenty of things. Therefore, it is multimedia, and they have got to be in such a sync, right? That the student should be lost, should be absorbed in listening to you carefully. Listening for what? Listening to derive the motivation, to derive the inspiration, not to be afraid of the subject. Alright? Even mathematics has got to be taught as a story. Alright? So anything, so board, working on the board has got to be perfectly organized. Alright? So some of your electronics people, the very fundamental question which I would normally ask an electronics person is to draw an amplifier circuit, a common emitter amplifier circuit. From where does he start drawing it makes me know whether he knows the subject or he does not know the subject. Or he has by-hearted the subject, or he has really understood the concept. Could you get it? Alright. So, those who know electronics definitely will be knowing what is most important is the active device. And that active devices need two biases. How will you create these two biases? Then comes the input signal. Then comes the output signal. Isn't it? Right? So, the whole organization is for listening, improving the listening comprehension. Your 1 hour of lecture should definitely be so Mount Everest, voluminous. It should become so qualitative and so voluminous. You should not give answer to any question. Your lecture should raise questions and take every question halfway through and leave the candidate there. Right? You got to take him and you got to make him sure that the end is so comfortable, but you should not take him to the end. Right? Now recall how a mature teacher in your MTech classes used to do this. Recall what your PhD guide would have done with you. That is the way you should bring your students at the BTech level, undergraduate level. Okay? So board management is most important. And while doing the board work, you are not going to teach the board like this, right? Your more than half body would be visible to the student all the time. Okay? I have seen many teachers comfortably turning towards the entire board and showing the back only to the students, right? Right? Isn't it? That should not be done. Okay. So this is L. L for we want to reduce this. That is the reason why in our syllabus you have seen L is less compared to any other institution. In all other institutions, 4 hours of lecture class, 3 hours of lecture class, but here we limit it to maximum 3 hours, and most of the time it will be 2 hours only. Okay, most of the time we would love to have it as 2 hours. Okay, and of course, I never love to teach more than 1 hour of one stretch, 1.5 hours or 2 hours. That's all done for that week. Okay, then comes T. Normally, people think T stands for tutorials. Of course, tutorial is the final way of doing it, but what is important is transaction. There, the student should learn how to transact, how to interact. Naturally, while interacting, the difference in the age between the teacher and the student matters a lot. Therefore, we want the teaching assistants to be there for the interaction session. You should be a lead instructor, and youngsters should be there in the laboratory or in the transaction place to interact with the candidates and have a meaningful dialogues. We love to ensure at least 1:20, is it? At least 1:20. So for every teaching assistant shall have not more than 20 students, not more than 20 students. We prefer to have 1:16, 1:15 only, right? That is what is the transactions. So transactions would lead to tutorial, but what is important is transaction. Okay. And then P, normally people think it is practicals, but it is not practicals, it is practicing the subject. Okay, it is practicing. All right, like law people would always tell, are you practicing? Like medical doctors always ask the question, are you still practicing? So practicing the subject. Practicals is one way of practicing the subject, right? And then practicing the subject should never have a syllabus. Teachers should be able to spontaneously generate the questions. Syllabus is only a model. This is the approximate coverage. So the whole course will be in a LTP structure. That's what you have got to understand. And I think you have already understood. And everything surely speaks about what is the outcome. What is the outcome of L? Outcome of L is listening comprehension to be improved. What is listening comprehension? Improvement in listening comprehension means focus, attention, involvement, depth, not from the point of examination, but from the point of learning. And relating whatever he have heard to his life. Right? Relating everything to the truth of life. Right? That's what has got to be done. And naturally, transactions and practice. Now, when you do it, why a student has got to be afraid of any examination? Tell me. Tell me. Number one. Number two, even the smartest person on the earth can set a question paper for which he should know how to answer. And if such a teacher has taught, then why should a student be afraid? You tell me. I don't find at all any reason. Isn't it? So somewhere there is a lapse, either in listening or you transferring the knowledge. That is why students find the examination difficult. And that is why he wants to deceive you by cunningly passing the exam. So examination is secondary. So here learning by the student has got to become the primary objective. All right. Of course, examination should happen, but I should not call it as examination. So this formative assessment. Now, in the formative assessment, Naturally, people think that everybody has got to do it. In life, nobody will do any job single handed. Has anybody done? See, for a chief, there is a deputy chief, isn't it? And she has the help of Chauhan, and then she has got a team, and she will do it, isn't it? Right? See, while welcoming, chief did not give me the bouquet. She came and gave me the bouquet, isn't it? So it's a team, right? Therefore, formative assessment should also be a team. The assessment should be at least through a team of minimum 4 members. And now, these 4 members should not be self-picked up by any student. These 4 people should be random 4 people, because even in life, your future partners are random. We don't know who is your future partner. Before you started loving somebody, till that person was unknown to you, isn't it? Right? So you don't know. Therefore, 4 partners have got to be 4 or 5, whatever it is. 4 partners, 3 partners, whatever it is, but it shall be randomly picked up. And we definitely do it by lottery, isn't it? By computing. Our DNA, randomly it will be picked up and they will be sent to you. Right? Now, obviously, in this group of 4, if there is one intellectual person in the group, and if he is not a grown-up person, he will always feel brain is mine and the remaining 3 are getting the marks. Isn't it? Even if he or she does not feel that, parents of that person will feel so. Brain is my son's, brain is my daughter's, and the other remaining 3 are getting benefited, right? But again, your role comes into picture. Well, because you are having the brain, you are emerging as a leader. Learn the leadership qualities. Everybody cannot become a leader, right? Learn the leadership qualities. Learn to lead, right? And more you use your brain and more you share your brain, sharper will your brain becomes. That's what you have got to tell. You have got to motivate him. Your marks, your first position will not go away. It will be yours. But you have got to keep it there. You have got to tell him. Right? And then your job is really to find out what is the participation of all these 4 people. How are they different from each other? Your job is not to simply assess an outcome. Your job is to watch your 4 people carefully. And your job is got to really find out who is the original over there, who is very original, and who the other person, how is he doing. And your job is to ensure that all of them understand, please underline this, understand whatever they have been doing. Could you get it? You are not worried. Your teachers were not worried about it. Right? You want them to pass the examination, but you will not ensure that they have understood whatever they have been doing. Your whole focus has got to be towards that. Right? Then, naturally, all 4 will be different. Allow them to copy. Absolutely no problem. Allow them to download the answer from Google. Absolutely no problem. Allow them to get the answers from an IIT classmate. Allow them. Allow them to, go and consult their parents if they are qualified people to get the answer. Absolutely no problem. Allow them to go to seniors and bring the answer. Absolutely no problem. Because if you are a useless teacher and if you are an ordinary teacher, you will see what they have written. That is a useless teacher. You have got to see, have they understood whatever they have written? That's all is the difference. Allow them to copy, but have they understood what they have copied? Isn't it? Have they understood? Right? Some neighboring girl would apply some cream and you will also apply cream. Fine. But you should know why are you applying that cream. Don't tell me the answer neighboring girl was applying the cream. Isn't it? So tell me, are you glowing because of the cream? Do you look good because of the cream? What is the composition of the cream? Have you seen whether this cream is useful for your skin or not? Of course, that is the last question. That is a creative question. Do you know whether this cream is good enough for your skin? What is the nature of your skin? What type of body is your body? Is it a dry skin or is it a wet skin? Isn't it? Is it an oily skin? That is where understanding the subject starts. I do not know myself and I apply the cream. Isn't it? Right? So that's what a teacher has got to do. That is where the assessment happens. Did you get it? It is not the answer. Has he understood that this is the answer? Isn't it? It is not writing down a stupid answer, but has he understood that I have arrived at this answer? The truth is same. 10 years back when you learned, it was the same truth. 10 years henceforth, it will be the same truth. But have you understood the truth? Love story was told in several movies, isn't it? Starting from Mughal-e-Azam, isn't it? Right? And today also love stories, isn't it? But then, have you understood your own love story? Right? Have you understood that? Right? That is more important. So that is all. Assessment is understanding that your student has understood. Right? And to what extent he has understood. Some people, particularly in MBA, some people would show tendency towards marketing aspect. Same topic would show tendency towards marketing aspect. Same topic, somebody will show tendency towards financial aspect. Same topic, somebody will show the tendency towards human resources involved in solving this problem. So you have got to understand, everybody has his own merit. Give them that freedom. Give that freedom to them. Is it all right? Well, you would definitely tell it is not for mass education. Who said? Mass education is an interesting case of scaling of education. So, scalability problem. That is why you have so many people in the teachers. But your class, your students is still finite. And we want to provide teaching assistants, etc., which would ultimately aim at minimum 1:20 or 1:16 minimum. So scaling is not an issue at all. So assessment. So formative assessment is a group work. And this group work, generally speaking, should not be time bound. In the sense, give the answer tomorrow, give the answer next 1 hour. No. Because this type of questions should require planning, discussing, sitting together, extracting the answers, extracting the material, compiling them and putting it together. All these things shall happen. Copying is also one of the method. Right? So they require time. Therefore, all these assignments should be very creative, should minimum be given at least 1 week for one problem. At least 1 week for one problem. Preferably 15 days for one problem. And that has got to be monitored at different stages. Because if you straight away tell you take 15 days, people will take it only on the 13th day. Till then they would throw it into the dustbin. But let him throw it to dustbin. But you have got to ensure that his conscience is engaged with the statement of the problem. How will you do this? How will you do it? That is where the periodic review Non-formal periodic review has got to happen. What did you understand by the statement of the problem? From where are you picking up the material? Did you watch this website? Did you hear this YouTube? Right? Gut. You got to do all these new things. Right? You're all young. And if I am alive, I will bring you to that level that everybody should have your own way of assessing the students and your own way of thinking of the assignments. Right? Okay? Gut. So this is what has got to happen. So formative assessment is like this. So formative assessment requires planning. And you have to assess not the answer. How is he planning? Is he planning to steal the answer? Is he planning to copy the answer somewhere? Or is he planning to create the answer? Naturally, if somebody tries to create, starting from somewhere, that should be given more weightage. And only one in the team shall be able to create the answer. One or two in the team, collectively or jointly. You have got to observe the team spirit, etc. These are the things which have got to be assessed. Obviously, out of the four, the one who creates shall be bad at writing. He will not have patience to write. Other person will write that. So, this person's score for documenting should be less, whereas that person's score for documenting should be more, whereas solving should be less for him. These are the things which you have got to carefully do. Could you get it? So, understanding the player is by observing the player. Observe, don't give any feedback. Right? But at the end of the 10th day or 12th day, when they start making the presentation, after they have completed, take 2 minutes to give them the feedback. Feedback, it should be feedback. Assessment should be to feedback and give him in what ways he can improve when he takes up the next problem. Feedback not to give the mark 6 out of 10, but to tell why you have lost 4 marks. 6 out of 10 if you give, your feedback should be why you have lost 4 marks. That is most important as a teacher's goal. Could you get it? That becomes a beautiful habit later. Right? And then next time he will come back and you will be compelled to give 8 marks. When you give 8 marks, still he demands an explanation from you why he lost 2 marks. Could you get it? He or she, whatever it is, why they have lost it, 2 marks. And, sir, all 4 of us have done together. Yes, I know. You should be at such an authoritative position. Amongst the 4 people, one shall be at 6, one shall be at 7, one shall be at 8, one shall be at 9. You should know. It is not just blindly putting 6 to everybody. Isn't it? So you should observe. This is what is formative assessment. Could you get it? And the weightage for formative assessment in our university is 60% of marks. Isn't it? Could you get it? That's the weightage. Okay? And of course, there are greater details which I have read it in our book. So, formative assessment. Then comes summative assessment. Formative is, dictionary meaning of formative is growth. Growth is slow but continuous. Therefore, assessment is continuous. Isn't it? And in the formative, what is going to happen? You are checking whatever you have nourished them is working or not, isn't it? Which means every instant you give them food, then you want to see whether it is absorbed by him or not, right? Therefore, formative assessment happens incrementally, isn't it? Small portion, very, very small portion. And your thinking is holistic to that small portion. But it is within that small portion, isn't it? Within the scope of that small portion. Right? So, when these incremental small portions are getting amalgamated, You have got to see how it is working holistically. Isn't it? How the total knowledge is working holistically while you have assessed them for the capsules of knowledge that they have picked up. Isn't it? So on a capsule of knowledge, one can easily do very well, a lot of beautiful things. But integrating the whole knowledge, integrating all the capsules together, and then solving a problem requires originality, requires the team, collective team intelligence, isn't it? Could you get it? That is why there is the target T5 in your work, which is the continuous practice exercises. And T1 is obviously a tough problem on which he has got to apply these incremental capsules of knowledge. Is it okay? Then, naturally, at the end of the semester, the whole collection of knowledge would be there. He has got to be able to assemblage them, isn't it? Make the assembly of the entire knowledge. Or make the sigma of the knowledge. That is summative. That's all. So simple. So that is the reason your question paper, now I am coming to what I started with. Your teachers were fools and you should not be fools. Your teachers were setting first question from first chapter. You should not do that because I want summation in every answer. I do not want capsules of knowledge. I do not want capsules of solution. I want how this knowledge will be amalgamated. Right? Could you get it? Therefore, my every question in the question paper should consist of at least 60% of the syllabus as a thumb rule. Okay? At least it should consist of 60%. So it should be holistic question. Therefore, the student should be able to apply holistically, think holistically and solve the problem. Could you get it? Right? In fact, mathematics, nobody is here in mathematics. I would have loved to start a problem starting with algebra and then get into geometry through that problem, and through the same problem I would get into calculus, and through the same problem I will get into optimization theory. Right? But I have, obviously, teacher should be at the authoritative level to do all these things. Isn't it? So, that's the reason later Dean AA section will come and tell, no question should be chapter wise, should be more than one chapter should be involved in making one question, etc., etc. They will tell. Okay, but what I am trying to tell you is the philosophy behind that. Could you get it? That is why it is called summative assessment. Then comes this Bloom's taxonomy, a beautiful taxonomy called Bloom's taxonomy, which has got multiple levels of understanding. Okay, it starts from remembering, going up to creating the answer. Okay, going up to creating the answer. Well, at the first year and second year level, even at MBA first year level, we may not expect the creating the answer, but at the later years, we definitely expect, will they be able to create a new knowledge? Create, synthesize, interpret, give a new interpretation. Can that be possible? That is why it is called summative assessment. Is it all right? And altogether is not absolute evaluation, it is relative evaluation. You don't worry. Make the life of a candidate miserable, but don't allow him to suicide. Life should be so miserable that I love to make the life miserable, because now I understand only when I face the misery I learn the truth of life. Isn't it? See, I cannot, as a vice chancellor, I shall be unhappy if there is no single problem any day. Every day I should have a lot of problems. Only then I shall be very happy, because learning is more. Isn't it? So that's what I got to make the student look. These are all thrilling. Without thrill, life is incomplete. So when you make the candidate about the fun of thrill, then he will not be afraid of any stupid examinations. Right? I told you the phrase fun of thrill. Right? That has got to be picked up by every one of you. At the end of the day, I am not worried if you don't continue with me or in this institution. But when you go, somebody should look at you very jealously. Somebody should look at you with enviously, from where have you come? Could you get it? What are you? What material are you made up of? They should ask you that. Right? But when you go outside, you should go to a higher level, not to the same level. And when you go outside, definitely you should go to an institution higher than this institution. Right? And to a higher level. If that has got to happen, all that you have got to do is focus on improving your resume. That's all. I'm not asking you to work for Vignan. I shall not ask. Write papers for me. I'm not asking you. I am asking you to focus on improving your own resume. Right? Because you should be ready to leave the institution anytime. I used to be in France a long time, at least once in every year over the consecutive 10 years. Okay. Then in the train, one lady drew my attention, a very beautiful lady. One day she asked me, can I sit next to you? All right, I said. And then next question she asked, can I smoke? I said, I am sitting in a non-smoking cabin, coach. That's the reason I am asking you, sir, can I smoke? And okay, all right, you can smoke, I told her. Then I asked her the question, why do you smoke? Why ladies in France smoke a lot? In France, in entire Europe for that matter, ladies smoke more than gents, more than men. Right? Why are you smoking so much? Why do you smoke so much? She told me a beautiful answer. This is because we are under tension. Why are you tense? I asked. Then she said, we are more worried about our next husband than the present husband. But there is truth. That is what I am telling you. You should also be worried about your next husband than the present husband. Isn't it? So your resume should be so strong to be acceptable by your next husband. Could you get it? And he should invite. He should ask you to divorce from the present husband and come to me. Isn't it? It is not poaching. It is for a better opportunity, which means your achievements in this institution should be so well known to some other institution that they should send you the feeler. They should send you the feeler. Look, we know about you. We have seen your resume. We have got your reference. We would like to take you for a next position. We would like to offer you this. Would you be joining us? So that feeling. If that feeler has got to come, you have got to improve your resume. If improving the resume is necessary, you should become original thinkers. Without originality, papers will not happen. Stealing or trying to become co-author with somebody else or getting tagged yourself to some stupid fellow will not improve your biodata. And I have seen husband and wife will come together, and in all husband's paper, wife's name will be there. In all wife's paper, husband's name will also be there. That will not make. Each of you should have your own field. Every one of you should have your own depth. Did you get it? In fact, my classmate, my PhD student, three of my PhD students one day were talking together. I think sirs must have been a love marriage. They were talking, they were discussing. My wife is fair and I'm not fair. That's the reason people thought that I must have, eloped this girl somewhere. Right? Okay. So they were discussing. Because they were discussing my sirs. In fact, I tell you one beautiful story related to my own life. My wife, as I said, is quite fair. Was fair or is fair, I don't know. Was fair or is fair, my wife. Rukmini? I don't know. Right. No. Then we go to hotel. When we go to hotel, occasionally she enjoys non-veg. Occasionally. I'm pure vegetarian. After placing the order, any bugger, any hotel person will place all the non-veg in front of me and place all the vegetarian in front of my wife. Right? He thinks this is a fucking useless fellow. He must be eating a lot of non-veg. Okay? But then people make opinion even without thinking about you. Could you get it? Alright? But you should make people to have opinion because you work. Could you get it? Because you have the depth. Right? No, not at all. Because is that clear? That is what you have got to do. So, you go, leaving this institution. I want you to leave this institution because I want only youngsters to be with me. I don't want old timers here. Okay? I want youngsters to be here. You leave the institution. You go. But if you have to go, your resume should be strong. Don't go for the same position. Go for higher position. And not you applying for the job. Of course, you have got to send the resume. But a feeler being sent by somebody to you. Could you get it? A feeler has got to be sent. Right from job number 1 I started in my career till this day here, all are based on invitation. All, starting my first job, every job which I have done is on invitation only. I want you to do that. Okay? So you can change, you can feel the difference. Because what I said, assessment is for the learning of the student, and if that has got to happen effectively, you should be a learner. And you have got to be a learner every day. Even before I calling my PhD candidate, I learn first what to discuss with my candidate. I learned that. Right? Good. And Annapurna, who introduced, you introduced me about 33 PhD scholars, isn't it? No, Dean Hagandi. Okay. A small correction, not 33, 35. Okay. 35 PhD candidates. Okay. And I want to end at 37. I have one more PhD candidate who has to submit the thesis at IIIT Allahabad, and only one more here at Vignan. With that, I shall end. Okay. But anyhow, that's not the issue. But the thing is that it is not guiding the PhDs. And anybody who comes for a professor position, if he tells that I have guided 5 PhDs, I have guided 6 PhDs, my only question is, can you pick up your best PhD that you have guided? Okay? My first question is very simple. What are your PhD candidates doing now? Where are they? That is enough to know what you are. Isn't it? To know what you are, I should ask what are your children doing, isn't it? Isn't it? Right? In the country, you know that. All of you know that. I'm sure married lady will tell. Right? Emana, by chance, if she does any mistake, is this the one which your parents have taught you? Isn't it? That is the first question, right? Right? So, if you have to bring grace upon yourself, you should see that your students are very graciously placed. You know now why you are called architects of the next generation? Right? The next generation stands upon you, not on anybody else. Could you understand the difference between formative assessment and summative assessment? Why it is called sigma summative? And why it should not be chapter wise? Now you have understood. And then the very bad habit of all teachers is to somehow indirectly leak the questions because they want 100% result, right? Why are you worried? Whole thing is relative. Whole thing is relative evaluation, isn't it? Right? So if somebody gets minus 10 and if that is the highest, that will become grade 10. Why are you worried about that? Isn't it? See, in the first time when I started working, the highest marks that any candidate could get was 21 out of 100. And there was a complaint against me to the director. Director called me. What is this? You are so tough. The best person has got only 21 marks. I was cool. I was just cool, remained cool. And then I allowed him to talk, whatever. Like, what is this? What do you think, 21? Will he get mark? Will he get a job? What, that, this, etc. Then after that, sir, is it over? I asked him. Then he said, okay, tell me. Did you ever ask what is the denominator for the 21? I asked. Oh, it is 100. Who said? It is 25. He has got 21 out of 25, sir. But he said 100. That is his impression, sir. For me, the denominator is 25. So you did not ask me that first. First, ask me that first. Then you ask. I give him an impression that he has got 21 out of 100, but I have put a denominator 25 in my mind for this candidate. That is what is relative evaluation. Young men and young ladies, could you understand that? Right? It's okay. Right? Sometimes 0 is 100 out of 100. Because all others would be at minus sign. Alright? Could you get it? Okay, so you have understood what is summative, you have understood what is formative, you have understood what has got to be assessment. Is it alright? Okay, good. Then the next point is about the PhD scholars I was telling you. I shall first ask where are your PhD scholars? Next question, if anybody comes for a professor position interview, I would ask, pick up any of one PhD thesis, 4 or 5 you said, anyone, and talk about it non-stop half an hour. Who has got to speak? Not the candidate. Guide has got to speak. Right? If the guide can speak non-stop half an hour, without using any PPT, any PowerPoint presentation, convincing me to understand what is the topic. I'm a layman. I don't know electronics. I don't know civil engineering. I should understand. Then he is in as professor. Otherwise, he is out. Simple. As simple as that. Right? So, your foundations have got to be strong. And if your foundations are strong, your students' foundations will automatically be strong. And if this foundation is strong, build anything, superstructure, it will definitely be strong. It will withstand earthquake. It will withstand any tsunami comfortably. Is it all right? That is all you have got to do. Is it okay? Good. So, your resume is important for me because collection of all your resume shall be the Vignan's resume. Isn't it? Don't work for Vignan. Work for yourself. Right? But Vignan should be proud of you because you worked for yourself and your resume became my resume. The institution's resume. Isn't it? And I want such vibrant resume and diverse resume. I want variety of your resume. Is it all right? That's all. You do it. Okay? You do whatever you like to. Every time, I always love to tell this. There was a movie called Chak De movie. Have you seen that Chak De? Have you heard at least? Shah Rukh Khan. Okay? What was he? Coach. Why was he a coach?
Because he was not able to win the medal.
He did not win the match, and a name was, people called him as a Gaddar, isn't it? That's why he became. What does he tell in the final match? Do you recollect? What does he tell? No.
This last 70 minutes, no one will take.
Last 70 minutes, nobody?
Will take from you to play with your heart.
Yeah, yeah. And then he told one most important. Last 70 minutes, this last 70 minutes, isn't it? You play whatever you like to play, isn't it? I am not going to tell you how you should play. Right? I'm not going to tell you this is final match, and I'm not going to tell you how you should play. Play. And then tell me what is the most important. Next line he said. The next line he said, after 70 minutes, after this 1 hour, this 1 hour shall become history. Could you get it? After this 1 hour of play, this 1 hour is going to become history. Could you get it? What I am trying to tell you? You are going to play your game in the classroom. And remember, after that 1 hour, that shall become history, because all 60 students in the class will write your history. They are authors. They are different authors. They write in their own way your history. Right? There shall be 60 histories written about you. Right? Spread about you, spoken about you, talked about you. And the listeners, first set of listeners would be his parents, her parents. Isn't it? So don't do it to make an opinion, but do it knowing that after 1 hour of your game, that game will become a history. Don't forget that. But again, don't do anything to make a name. Do it because you love to do it. All right? Could you get it? So don't just make with an intention, my name should be the best name. I should be called as the best teacher. Don't do that. Do it because you love to do it. Right? Will you be? That's all. That's all. That's all I want. Nothing more. Get involved. Commit. Be compassionate. That's all. And don't give an impression to any student that you are teaching. Don't. You are not a teacher. You are a facilitator. Right? Try to walk along with the student. Don't lead him. Don't lead him. Try to walk along. Hold his hand. Tell me, please lead me. Tell him that I am an old man. You lead me. Let us discover in your lecture that voice of discovering jointly should come. The questions like, what would happen next? You should create that enthusiasm. When you are deriving, you should create that enthusiasm. Yeah, let us integrate. Okay, let us add some quantity on both left hand side and right hand side. Okay, what would happen if I add? And then what should I add? Why should I add? Simple. Then how I should proceed? That is the path of discovery. How I should proceed. Right? And then if you can lead him as if you are exploring the world along with him, of course, you have already explored the world. You already know it. But still, the storytelling, particularly in a technological subject, should be so strong that you should make him feel that he is exploring. Therefore, what should be the algorithm for teaching? Algorithm for teaching is start always from the known end, move incrementally to the next point, landing on that state, the candidate should feel that he has already known it. Isn't it? And sequence it in such a way that towards the end, you have achieved the outcome and he has felt, he has experienced the learning. That's all. That's all. The last point of your own assessment. If your student goes to some other teacher, or goes to some other book, or goes to some other stupid YouTube, or goes to some other Google to learn whatever has been taught by you, then you are the poorest teacher on earth. Okay? He should never consult anything, any book or anything to know what has been taught in the class. But he should be so much inspired to run to Google, so much inspired to run to library to discover what more is available. So yours should be such a bullet. Yours should be such an explosion. And I'm using the word explosion because when the explosion takes place, the particles will go in different directions, and all the 60 students should be able to think in 60 different directions. Could you get it? 60 different directions starting from the same seed that you have explored. They should run to library. They should go to discuss with the classmate. They should drag the classmate. Let us work on this. Then alcohol problem, drug problem, everything will subside. Right? But the love problem increases. Do you know why the love problem increases? They start respecting their classmates for their brain power. They start appreciating their classmates. And if this appreciation is with the opposite gender, a true love blossoms. You cannot prevent. But I always told my students, don't love anybody whom you appreciate for the academic or professional capabilities. Only when the love is instantaneous, only that person is good enough for marriage. If the love emanates because of the appreciation for her, his or her depth in academy or depth in profession, that is not love, that is appreciation. Okay? Right. But then that doesn't mean professionals should not get married, but then there has got to be different love altogether. Okay? Right. So the respect. So the group working, your teaching should increase the respect for the peers, not dirty competition. The source for dirty competition are we, the parents. Nuvu first ravala, you should be the first person in the class. These are all meaningless. Right? You are the most beautiful person. Don't tell that. Right? But you tell the other way around. People should be envious of your beauty. Maintain that. But you should be the most beautiful person. Don't tell that. Could you get that? Right? So, simple. As simple as that. Okay? But today is my life. Plan as if you are going to live for infinity. Plan as if you are going to live even after 100 of years old. Okay? But when you start living, work as though you are going to die tomorrow. That's simple. Life is very, very simple. Okay? Always be smiling and accept. When your student tells, Madam, Sir, I think this is wrong. So ask him, tell me, how am I wrong? Why am I wrong? Ask him. And assess that. Assess that. That's a question you should be able to assess. Okay? And accept. And then you ask next beautiful question, why did I go wrong? Then he will tell you, because your assumption in the previous step was wrong, madam. Right? You made a very erroneous assumption there, and that is why the deduction went to this direction. Right? That's what you should be proud of. Right? A coach could have been a good player, but coach remains a coach only. Right? But player comes because of the coach. Right? Okay? Good. Thank you very much. And please ask me any question that you like.
Yes, sir.
Good. Have you done anything which your wife has insisted you to do? Have you done anything in life which your wife has insisted you to do? Find out.
Yeah.
No. If anybody insists that it has got to be done, that shall be the first one to be refuted. No. If your wife has asked you, can you take me to my mother's place? Why today only should you go? Can we not postpone it to next week? Can you not go alone? Can you not take your son and go? Why should I come? Have you not told? Check yourself. Check yourself. The moment your wife has told, let's go to supermarket today. Chalo, chalo. Ab kabhi bataye? I mean, have you told, chalo, chalo, let's go? No, remember why your student should do. Isn't it? Why your student should do. Therefore, let us convert the whole thing as playing, game playing. Get them involved into the work. Get them involved into the topic. They will not do. Nobody will do anything new because you have commercialized the education, sir. You have commercialized the education because education is only for stupid examinations, sir. And then why should they take up the vertical if horizontal is enough to get 60 marks out of 100 marks? In fact, going up to 80 marks is linear. From 80 to 100 marks, it is saturated growth. How much work I have got to do from 80 to 100 marks? Then, why should I take 82 marks if 80 marks can do the job? Right? But, exploring the world and asking him to find out what is at the end of the tunnel, discover it, making him feel that there is something at the end of the tunnel. Then, if he tries to get into the end of the tunnel, he is brave, he is very brave and he is okay, explore. Why do you want everybody to explore the world? Not necessary. Isn't it? And plenty of people did not believe Gandhiji when he announced non-cooperation. Isn't it? But only Gandhiji had. But only one Gandhiji for such a big nation. Right? So we need not worry. That is the reason I told you, even in the 4 members, only one will be a leader. Only one may be a leader. Maybe, I don't know. May try to become a leader. Fine. But others will at least try to understand what this leader is doing. Why do you insist that everybody has got to play? But tell them it is a teamwork. Tell them you have got to support each other. But don't tell them. Make them feel that the support is necessary for each other. Right? It's a very difficult game, ball game. Very difficult ball game. But you have got to do it. And the moment you arrive at the judgment that they do not participate in the vertical, you are already judging their ability. You are already conditioned in your opinion, sir. They may be still grey people, they may be still fresh, they may be trying you, but you have already adjudicated their capability. Don't do that. Right? That is the only thing is that even the worst person, don't make a judgment that he is useless. I have to push him by giving 40 marks. Right? Let us not do that. Okay? So let us not be judgmental. Let us not decide. Let us not be conditioned in our opinion. Let us also explore the world along with them. And if they don't want to explore, good. After all, ultimately, the world is going to be a pyramid. Isn't it? It is not a cylinder. Why it has got to be a cylinder? It has got to be a pyramid. And only one can reach the pivot of the pyramid. Isn't it? Right? So the base has got to be also, people have got to be there. At the base level also, leave them. Leave them. Wherever they want to drop in the life, leave them. Right? But then, tell them, your aim can also be to go up to the top of the pyramid. That's all. But real, intellectual will tell, why should I put the effort to go to the top when I know that I cannot reach the top? Good. He is contented. He is happy. He is a happy-go-lucky person. He is quite contented. After all, ultimately, what is that we have got to achieve in life? Ultimately, whether you become Abdul Kalam or whether you look at Abdul Kalam, he was also unmarried. And you look at our Modi, he also left wife at the beginning itself. Isn't it? So, when that is the final truth, and if he is contented, allow him to be contented. Because rarely people are contented, sir. Everybody is greedy on this earth. Maybe he is contented. You enjoy that. And if your assessment has got marks for contentedness, you give him the most marks. And for the person who is greedy, your contentedness marks gets reduced. So the assessment of the candidate should be on multiple scale, not on only one scale. Okay, 100-meter running race happens, only one can come first. Then still 9 would participate, right? Still the remaining 9 would participate, right? So let us make them to participate. That's all. Okay? Let us make them to participate. Everybody need not. Okay? Alright. So, first, we should teach them, not teach them, we should make them feel the importance of being contented, number 1. Number 2, not ordinary dirty competition amongst themselves, but there has got to be exploring competition amongst themselves. Okay? And that should result in respecting each other. Okay, sir? Right. Good. Exactly. That is the cracks. That is the cracks. You are self-sympathizing, telling yourself that you are putting the best effort from your side. You are self-appreciating yourself that you are putting the best effort and they are not rising. Good. You appreciate yourself that I am being able to think in this direction. But why should you think that you should get rewarded, sir? Right? Number 1. Number 2, the next point you mentioned, there is a pressure from my head of the department. There is a pressure from the management. They are all dirty, useless people, sir. Your head of the department is useless. Your next immediate senior is totally useless. But there is conscience within you. Right? And you know what you have got to do, sir.
That
Right?
is ultimate truth.
Good.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Right.
Thank you. Yes.
Good question. You do your job. For whose sake are you doing here?
For our
For
work.
our children only. Isn't it? They are all our children.
Yes.
They are our future.
Yes.
Right? But you don't need to tell that I am doing it for you. Right? We should. Think of your father. Think of your grandfather. How was it taking all of you together? Today, our families have become nuclear families with 1 or 2 children. Okay. Think of your father. How was he managing? Think of your great grandfather. How was he managing? Was he complaining? What did he complain? Did he compare any 2 children? Nuvemra and aim play the we have got to do that, sir. Comes with maturity. All philosophy comes with maturity. Fine. But the struggle is enjoying that. Right? The beauty lies in enjoying. Don't really enjoy. Alright? Don't really enjoy. See, I always see that, I can't really understand why one should conceive and why should the baby should grow in the embryo only. Why? And all 9 months and towards the end, immediately the lady will tell, next time I am not going to conceive. And that will be the same lady within 2 years she would have conceived again. See, beauty lies there, sir. The beauty lies there. Okay. Right? Truth. Right? Isn't it, sir? Right? How many of you are not told, I shall not marry. I would not have married. మీ నాన్న చెప్పున్నాడు కదా ఎందుకు పెళ్లి చేసుకుంటామని కానీ మీరు చేసుకున్నాడు ఎంజాయ్ దట్స్ ఆల్ Beautiful. No problem. Good question. Any other question?
Yeah.
All that I want you to look at the philosophical end of anything. Don't look at don't be myopic. Don't be under a ordinary circle of a small radius. Okay? Your circle should have an infinite radius. What do I mean by infinite radius? What do I mean by infinite radius? Tell me. There is no bound circumference. Any finite radius has a bound circumference. Isn't it? So if your radius, if your ability to think is infinite, then there is unbound circumference. Right? Isn't it? Good.
Space to every thought.
Good. Isn't it? Then you will not
Space to
find
every
any,
angle.
you will not find any problem with anybody. One young lady had come to me in a very fearful mode, and I just told her, let us learn to wear our opposition's shoes onto our legs, and then try to think why that person behaved so. Isn't it? Step into somebody else, step into your opponent's shoes. Let us try as teachers. Why he does not want to solve that problem? Step into his shoes. Because his mathematics background is poor, because his high school ability was poor, because his teachers had focused him only on examination, because he is very happy to get only 65%, not more than 65%. He is contented with that. So you have got to make him not to work, you have got to make him to stretch his radius of thinking. Difficult, I agree, but challenging. Right? Very difficult, I agree, very challenging, right? Okay, I was just telling the story and I stopped it there. My students were discussing, PhD students were discussing that mine must have been a love marriage. Then my student, most interesting student, he said, no, sirs cannot be a love marriage. Okay, he is a big man today. He has got a big company. Okay, and today morning also he was speaking to me. And then the others asked, how do you think sirs is not a love marriage? Because if auntie would have written the same type of love letter again and again, he would have edited it and sent her back asking to revise the love letter. Okay, right? He will not write the stereotypic love letter again and again. It will be different. Every time it has got to be different for him, right? Right. So be different all the time. Look at the life. Look at everything differently. Look at your own wife differently. When you go today evening, don't go with a pre-biased mind. I am talking to my wife. My wife will open the door. Don't look at. My girlfriend is opening the door. You think? Look